Welcome to Sweet Talk SLP. I'm Krystle and I'm a pediatric speech language pathologist. Today is another episode of Sweet Talk Tips. But before we get started, if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, I invite you to subscribe. Also, like this video and share it with your friends. Let's get started. For this episode of Sweet Talk Tips, I wanted to dive in a little bit deeper about following the child's lead. Now, this is going to be geared really for my SLPs, my SLPAs, my pediatric OTs and PTs, and what therapy sessions might look like, but also definitely for my parents out there. I feel like it's going to emphasize therapy a bit more, but for my parents out there that are looking for ways of increasing language and interactions at home, these tips will also work for you. So what is following a child's lead? It is doing that, following a child's lead. You learn one thing in school, and then you go out into the real world to apply it, and it looks totally different. Granted, I graduated over 10 years ago, so what I was taught in grad school may look different than what they're teaching now. I want to talk about some of my experiences, what I've learned, and also what I've seen as far as trying to help my SLPAs or any interns or students that have come my way that I've seen and helped modify and teach so that they learn how to follow a child's lead. So I'm going to use some of those examples so that you have a better understanding of what this looks like, because sometimes you think you're following a child's lead and really you're not. Why do we follow a child's lead? Well, we do it to learn their interest. When a child is more interested in something and they're excited and happy, the opportunities for them to use their own language increases. But also, we want to take away all those demands that we place on kids. We as therapists, we as parents, and not me because I'm not a parent, but as parents, as therapists, we sometimes have this habit of demanding our child to do something, such as do this, say this, put it here, put it there. And later, when they're older, that's okay. But when they're little, putting such a big demand on them can cause a total shutdown. I'm going to give a few examples of what a session would look like when you're following a child's lead. And these are real life situations that have happened because I feel like that's going to help you the most in understanding how to do this. So let's talk about my SLPs and my SLPAs. In most cases, if you're working with children where you're following their lead, you're working in an outpatient clinic, or you're working in home health or traveling to their home. And this is for those kids that are usually under 3 years old, right? So it's not really in school, it's in a clinic or at their home. In a clinic, an SLP is going to generally put out a few toys that they think the child may be interested in. This is not their house. They don't have everything in front of them, so there's going to be things put out for the child to play with. In a child's home, it's going to be one of two ways. Either the SLP is going to bring a bag of toys and kind of do the same thing, or it's an SLP that's bagless and using only the things that are in the child's home. In all of those cases, the point is for the child to pick what it is they want to do. I've worked in both settings, so I have done both. I am not a bagless SLP. I don't work in ECI, like in early childhood intervention. I work for a home health, a pediatric home health where we treat 0 to 21. And so a lot of my kids still receive ECI services through the state of Texas, and so they get the training, the parent training, and using the toys that they have in their environment. Now, not to say that I don't use the toys in their environment, because I do, but it's just a little bit different because I do take a bag of toys with me. Now, a couple years ago, I had an intern come to me and tell me that she went to go see a child, and she took her bag of toys, and all the child wanted to do was take the toys out and put them back in. Now, I learned as an SLP to make a plan and try to make that plan work, or make, 3 or 4, like a backup for the backup for the backup. But sometimes your backup for the backup for the backup doesn't work. In this case, the kid wanted to take out all the toys from the bag and put them back in. So what do? You take the toys out of the bag with him and put them back in. And you model language. In, out, or depending on what the toy is, ball out, ball in. We would like for the child to do the play activity that we want. We're the rigid adults here. We want these very specific things met and these very specific activities done. But if the kid wants to put it in and out of the bag, you put it in and out of the bag. Or if the kid doesn't want anything to do with your bag and wants to jump around on the sofa, well, let's make an activity out of that. Let's make it a game. Let's model language and show the kid that we see them, we see what their interest is, and we are here to play and participate in their game and their activity. I currently have a kid right now that I take my bag of tricks, and sometimes he likes what's in my bag, and sometimes all he wants to do is use his monster trucks. So you know what? There are some sessions where all we do is use his monster trucks, or sometimes his monster trucks with some of my toys. Not in the way that they're meant. He might use the piggy bank toy and open up the little latch, and we might drive in the cars and use it as a garage. But that's what he wants to do, and we're going to do it. I'm not going to expect him to put the coins in the piggy bank. I'm not going to expect a child to play with a potato head the way I want them to play with the potato head. They're going to put the parts wherever they want to put the parts. You know, a hand's gonna end up here, a nose is gonna end up on the side, and that's okay. We're having fun. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you have to remember to have fun and to really do whatever it is the child wants to do with reason. I've had a child who was throwing things. He was a thrower because he enjoyed throwing things so much, and to help with the safety issue of it, we turned it into a different type of game so that it was more controlled for him, but still where he was able to throw things. He had a big basket where he would put all of his toys that was generally empty because his toys would be all over the floor. And so we used that as a hoop, a basketball hoop, for throwing things inside. And you know what? Instead of him throwing things at people or anywhere else, he was okay with throwing them there because we were letting him know, hey, it's okay to throw your toys. Let's do this here. So we're following his lead, but we're also kind of trying to modify it for safety reasons. And that's okay to do, right? Sometimes it's not going to work, you know, and so you have to find some other ways to control it a little bit better while still following the child's lead. And I think that's all I have for now. Just a little crash course on following a child's lead. Again, I really feel like this is going to be meant for my SLPs and SLPAs out there, my pediatric OTs and PTs. But as parents, I feel like that's often what I see is parents placing so many demands on a child versus just taking a step back, watching what's going on, waiting, assessing the situation, and then joining in whatever it is they're doing. If they're lining up toy cars, let's line up toy cars together. You know, it is whatever it is they're interested in and whatever they're enjoying, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to enjoy it. We're going to model language. We're going to put some pauses. We're going to do repetitive language tasks such as ready, set, go, or 1, 2, 3, go, put pauses, sing, do all the things that we can do while they're enjoying their game but not taking away from it. What are some of your favorite activities when a child is leading therapy or leading the play interactions? And I'd love to hear your stories about a session or a time with your child where maybe you had that aha moment of not following their lead and then following their lead, and it was like, this is it. This is what you know it should look like. I would love to know what toy or situation it was. I want to thank you so much for watching this. If you like my videos, I hope that you'll consider subscribing, like this video, share with your friend, ring that notification bell. You'll be notified of my weekly uploads. Again, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.